Hello and welcome to this broadcast from the Media Hub, and we're here with Andrew Mangan. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Mangan from
from
ArseCast or more prominently ArseBlog.
That's right.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
And I firstly want to ask you. A lot of people that are watching this are university students aspiring to become media personalities. If you were a university student coming out of university, graduating right now, and you didn't really want to get into a mainstream media organization, you wanted to start your own thing, how would you go about it at this point in time?
I think you would have to start producing content on a regular basis, whether it's written, whether it's broadcast, because you can do that now with YouTube. Everybody can set up their own YouTube channel. Everybody can set up their own blog or website. Everybody can set up their own podcast fairly easily. So I think if you want to get out there and you want to build a portfolio of work, you're capable of doing that these days without it costing you too much money, if at all. And then as and when you grow and as you develop as a broadcaster or a writer or a podcaster, you then have this backlog of work, this portfolio of work that you can showcase your talent to other media organizations. So you have that to fall back on as well.
Yeah, and just personally for you, you kind of found your own niche market in the Arsenal fans, and you were the first Arsenal blog. What advice would you give someone in discovering that niche market at this point in time with so much competition?
Well, what are you interested in? What are you an expert in? Because I can only really write about Arsenal because that's the club that I follow. That's the team that I have a passion for. Whereas if you said to me tomorrow, go do a podcast or a blog about Manchester United, I couldn't do that because I don't have A, the passion, or B, the knowledge or expertise.
And because we play very boring football.
Well, look, that's a different thing. But, it's just about what you're capable of doing and what you're capable of producing, and to do your best work, I think you've got to be interested in something, and it's about you identifying what that particular thing is for you.
Yeah, and when you first started producing ArseBlog, I guess you said over the weekend at Sports Writers Festival that it was something you kind of made on the side. When did you realise that this is something that I can actually make a living off? This is something that I can actually do for money and make my career out of?
It wasn't anything that I'd never planned for that to happen, but over the years the site grew, and it was bought by an American company who were paying me a salary to run the website, and then unfortunately they stopped paying me my salary and went out of business. So I had to then think about, what do I want to do with this website? For a number of years it's provided me with a large portion of my income. Now that income is gone, how can I start again, in a way? So we had to expand the site. That was what we ultimately decided on, was to expand the site, to make it bigger, to increase the revenue potential of the website. And that's what we've been working on ever since, is to always try and add new things. Not everything has worked. Sometimes we've tried something and it hasn't worked out, but I think it's much better to try and for it not to work than not to try and have regrets that you didn't do that.
Yeah, and you have approximately 15 years of experience now behind you. For someone that's starting up, and they might not be confident in front of a camera or behind a microphone, and they might be tentative in thinking, why would someone listen to me instead of listening to an expert? What advice would you give them in just getting out there and getting it done?
Just do it, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And if you're uncomfortable in front of camera, which I really am, I'm not good in front of camera. I'm much happier behind a microphone.
Yeah, sorry about this.
No, that's okay. I would say just do it, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll become, because you'll just get better at it. Certainly, when you do your first podcast, it's going to be very different from your 500th podcast, for example, that you will learn as you go. So, if you have ambitions of being a broadcaster or a podcaster, I think you have to be comfortable across a number of platforms, not just written, but you have to be there as a talking head perhaps, or as a podcast guest, or as somebody who writes. So yeah, just get practicing and just start doing it, and the sooner you do that, the more comfortable you'll become.
Yeah, and I guess it's easy enough for us to say, like, oh, just go start doing it. But I mean, we're in such a saturated market these days. Like, there's so many podcasts out there at the moment.
Yep.
It's not that easy to find a point of difference these days, is it?
No, I guess it's not. But I think everybody has their own unique point of view, their own perspective on things. And as long as you're honest about what it is that you're saying or writing, then if you can write well enough, if you can speak well enough, then maybe you can set yourself apart from some of the others. I think everybody's got the potential to build an audience and to grow that audience, but it depends how much work they want to put into it. You've got to be patient. I've been doing it for 15 years, which is a long time, and unfortunately there aren't really any quick fixes. It's about putting in the hours. It's about being available and doing it regularly, and I think people will respond to that, but patience is a virtue, and it's an important part of building something.
And just before we let you go, what's the most important piece of advice you'd give to someone just graduating university, if they're going into a ready-made job or if they're going into, a brand new business?
Wow, that's a really good question. I don't know, actually. I mean, I think just try your best, always try new things, always come up with ideas. Some of your ideas won't work. Some of them might fall flat on their face, but as I said, it's a good idea to try things. It's a good idea to, a good way of learning from your mistakes. Nobody is perfect all the time. You are going to make mistakes. It's how you learn from those mistakes and how you go on from there that I think is really important. All
right, Andrew Mangan, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, I hope you have enjoyed this Trobe broadcast live from the Media Hub. And if you're a university student and you're watching this on your laptop, I hope Andrew here has inspired you to get your hand out of your packet of chips. Close that Netflix tab, download Audacity, and start on your first podcast right now. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.